What's up, folks? Your buddy Fatalroadie. Tonight we're doing a Raw recap. Started off with a recap of last week with Becky Lynch's announcement of being pregnant. Then we got Charlie Caruso in the ring for an interview with Randy Orton. He explains why he challenged Edge to a bog-standard wrestling match at Backlash. He says that Edge isn't a superior wrestler. There's a whole bunch of doubt and fear, which of course brings Edge out. And we get the same meandering speech back and forth.
And to make a long story short, too late.
Edge accepts Randy Orton's challenge. Then we got a recap of the Seth Rollins-Rey Mysterio incident from last week. Then backstage, Seth Rollins has a revelation. He tells Buddy Murphy to come along with him, and Seth Rollins and Murphy come out to the ring, and Rollins has seen the light due to the disbelief of Rey Mysterio in the Monday Night Messiah. He says, "Rey Mysterio, you're welcome." Humberto Carrillo comes out. He calls Seth Rollins' words bullshit and that he's a coward. Rollins says if you're ready for a fight, Murphy is dressed for one and will be happy to oblige. 30 minutes into the show and we finally have a match. So it's Murphy versus Humberto Carrillo. This was actually a decent speed match from both Carrillo and Murphy. There's a whole bunch of flippy shit. Unfortunately, Seth Rollins at ringside interferes by distracting Carrillo. He ends up eating a knee, followed by a Murphy's Law, and Murphy gets the pin. After the match, Murphy attacks Carrillo. Aleister Black comes running out, fights with Murphy. Murphy escapes a Black Mass kick and scurries up the ramp. Backstage, we have King Corbin bitching. Shocker. And we also find out that Liv Morgan's mom is her inspiration for giving her devotion. Cool. And as if we didn't have enough talking for the first half hour, Charlotte Flair comes out. Once again, she says she's the hardest worker, blah, blah, blah. She calls out Ruby Riott, and after the commercial, we have a match. This is a match. I mean, there was a decent bit of back and forth. Ruby Riott had a good bit of offense through this, ends up missing a Riott kick. Charlotte Flair capitalizes, locks in the figure 8. Ruby Riott taps out. Alright. Backstage, Bobby Lashley is being courted by MVP. Then we have a recap of that awesome basketball game last week with the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. So after that awesome match, we are going to have a axe throwing contest. Jesus Christ. So once we're back in ring, we have Kairi Sane introducing Asuka, the new women's champion. We are reminded once again that Becky Lynch is pregnant. Kairi Sane gives Asuka some flowers. Asuka gives a speech. She's happy. Kairi Sane announces that Asuka is now a Grand Slam champion. She starts to play a song on the recorder, but she's interrupted by Nia Jax. She says that Asuka was just handed the belt. She plans on taking the belt from Asuka. Asuka's having none of this, ends up attacking Nia Jax, sending her out of the ring. Backstage, King Corbin runs down Drew McIntyre. All the while, McIntyre is watching all this on a screen. Corbin says he will beat McIntyre tonight, and I guess at WrestleMania he'll be taking his title. We're kind of planning this a little ahead, aren't we? Then we got R-Truth in the ring, mouthing off to Bobby Lashley. Of course, Bobby Lashley comes out, and then Pretty Ricky just shows up. He gets beat down. This is a glorified squash match. R-Truth taps out to the full Nelson. Alright, wasted time. We got MVP up on the stage clapping, and Lana's in the back throwing a fit. Then we have Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the IKonics. This will be for the women's tag team titles. Of course, the IKonics come out with a microphone, so I gotta mute it. This was a decent match. Once again, I forgot and I had to hit the mute again. There was blatant disregard for Vince McMahon's secret rule about the non-tagged person interfering. This all came to a head when Peyton Royce was disregarding the ref, attacking Alexa Bliss, and then finally they get disqualified. Backstage, Kairi Sane is playing the recorder. Nia Jax comes back from behind, attacks her, lays her out. Also, the IKonics have a blowout backstage after losing the shot at the titles. And also, Asuka attacks Nia Jax back. Say that 3 times fast. Then we have Natalya versus Shayna Baszler. Again, this time it's a submission match. This is a quick but match. Natalya taps out to a Kirifuna clutch. Alright, I wonder what match we're going to have with the two of them next week. Natalya throws a fit in the ring while the roadies are setting up for the Kevin Owens show. She's chucking bits of the set out of the ring. And guess what? Did you know? Becky Lynch is pregnant. Yeah, we were reminded again. And we start hour 3 with the talk segment. As usual, Kevin Owens comes out to a wrecked set for the Kevin Owens show. Owens thanks Natalya for the remodeling job. He says Kevin Owens has returned and his guests are going to be Zelina Vega and her crew. They come out, Zelina talks up her crew. Kevin Owens is sitting outside of the ring on the apron and informs them that there's going to be another guest, Apollo Crews, who comes out of nowhere and attacks Andrade. And guess what, playa? We have a tag team match. Kevin Owens and Apollo Crews versus Andrade and Angel Garza. This was an okay match. Zelina tried to distract the ref. Theory tried to get in a cheap shot. Apollo Crews dodges, and Theory ends up hitting Garza, and Apollo Crews gets the pin. After the match, Theory gets beat down by Garza and Andrade, and is left laid out on the side of the ring. Backstage, Drew McIntyre talks about his match later on tonight with King Corbin, and then we go to the axe throwing contest with the Viking Raiders and Street Profits. Yay. We cut from that to have Aleister Black versus Murphy. Seth Rollins is at ringside. Aleister Black takes it to Murphy, ends up missing a kick, nailing the ring post. Rollins is focusing on a downed Austin Theory. Rollins picks him up, they stare at each other. Theory goes running into the ring, attacks Aleister Black, causing a disqualification. And then Murphy and Theory beat down on Aleister Black. So I guess Austin Theory is now part of the Disciples now. We go back to the axe chucking competition. Skip. It's fucking retarded. We have a backstage interview with Apollo Crews. Next week, he's going to be challenging Andrade for the U.S. title again. Then we go on to our main event, Drew McIntyre versus King Corbin. Before the match, Bobby Lashley and MVP come out. MVP says they have a vested interest in this match. Bobby Lashley says he wants the title. That might actually be pretty cool. But back to the match, there was a lot of offense from McIntyre and a lot of rest holds from King Corbin. There were some good spots from both competitors. McIntyre catches Corbin with a future shock DDT, tries to go for a Claymore kick, but Corbin hits the deep six. Tries to mount up a comeback, but Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore kick and gets the pin. After the match, McIntyre stands tall, yelling over at Bobby Lashley, saying that he wants a fight with him. Like I said, that looks like it might be a really cool match. And with all this, we end tonight's Raw. Tonight's Raw was, it wasn't all that great. I really wish we'd get rid of this, whatever the axe throwing, whatever the shit we're doing with the Street Profits and Viking Raiders. Next week, we're going to have a sing-off, I guess. I don't know. We'll probably have some type of repeat with Natalya and Shayna Baszler.
Oh, for God's sake.
Whatever. And in regards to this invitational thing, they said 4 times in a year that someone from Raw or someone from SmackDown can go over. Now, Charlotte is supposed to be going on SmackDown for her match with Bayley. Then we have Baron Corbin tonight with Drew McIntyre. That's 2. They've already blown 2 of their 4 matchups. Why do I have a figuring that this is going to be this is going to happen 4 times a year? Yeah, this is just the Wildcard Rule 2.0, as one of my commenters said. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Raw Recap. I'll be back later this week with the SmackDown review. Leave a comment down below what you thought of tonight's Raw, what you thought about this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I've been Fatalroadie. You've been awesome. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.